Hello guys. In this video we are going to be painting Harry Potter. So get your canvas out. You are going to need some brushes. I use 3 different sizes. I have a big one, medium, and a small one. If that's not what you have, that's fine. You can make do with whatever. Make sure you have something to keep water in so you can clean out your brushes quickly. Also, it's a good place to keep your brushes when you're not using them so they're not laying out with dried paint getting all crusty and gross. And you'll just make sure you have a little towel to dry your brushes off after you get them cleaned out of your jar. All right, so let's get started. My first step is going to be, I'm going to paint the face color. So on your plate of colors, it's just the tiniest bit of this like burnt orange color. I'm just dabbing my brush in it. And I'm gonna mix it in with a lot of white. It's just this very, very pale flesh tone. And I'm just gonna go in and paint. I'm gonna just kind of go around the glasses. If you get paint on them, that's fine. Just make sure it's very thin paint so that you could still see the line. So I'm just being careful not to be too messy going around. So just very light-handedly painting so you don't have big thick paint. And even though I am going over my lines a little, you can still see them very well. I'm gonna come up around his hair. The little lightning bolt, just be a little careful around that. And I'm just getting his whole face filled in. So I'm not doing the eyes because they're gonna be black. There, I have his whole head. Next, I'm gonna do his hair and his shirt. So I'm gonna clean out my brush. And those two things, hair and this area of his shirt, they will be black. While we're using black, we'll also just fill in the whole eye. So clean brush, dry it off on your towel, and then just go in with your black paint. And you're gonna fill in all of his hair. Just take your time around your edges. And just make sure you have nice smooth paint no glob. So I'm just kind of spreading out anywhere where my paint got thick. So it's nice and even coat. I don't know how I got white on my brush, but I did. Oh, I bet it's from his face. Sorry, I'm just gonna blend it away so you can't even see it. So I have his hair all done, just smoothing out any thick paint. And I'm gonna come down here and do this bottom part of his shirt. So I'm gonna go around the scarf. Sorry, my easel's kind of in my way. And just nice even line here across the top as best as I can. And then all this down here. Now I'm gonna still be using black, but I'm gonna switch brushes. I'm gonna use a bit smaller one, and I'm just gonna fill in these eye circles. So just try to keep your edges nice and smooth. Circles are kind of a hard shape to make perfect, so don't worry if they're a little off. Mine are gonna be a little off too. It will all be okay. Here's one. Come over here and do this one. So I'm gonna leave those to dry. We do have some more black to do on his face, but I don't want those to be wet while I'm trying to do this nice circle. So I'm gonna let them dry so I can at least rest my hand to help make my lines a little less shaky. So while that's drying, I'm just gonna come down here and paint the scarf. I'm going to stay using the same size brush, but I do need to clean it out. And we're just gonna alternate stripes. We've got red and yellow. I'm gonna do all my yellow ones first. That way, if I do get a little messy on my edge, when I come in and do my red stripes, I can clean them up with red. The red will cover the yellow will not cover the red. So it's smart to just do the yellow ones first. That way you can go back in and do your red stripes and have nice clean lines. So I'm just cleaning up my brush. And so my first one is red. I'll just skip that and come over here and do this one yellow. Take my time on my edges. Especially down here, I've got some wet paint. I don't want to get that black wet paint up into my yellow. So just be careful. or take a little bit more time. Make sure it's dry so you don't have to be that careful. Skip that one. Come over here and do this one. Skip the next one, do this one right after. And then this side little bit of scarf where it is kind of overlapping, the top stripe is yellow, and then the next stripe is red, and there is just a tiny little piece at the bottom of the canvas where the red stripe ends. You probably can't see it with the lip of my easel, but there's this little spot right here where the next stripe starts. So I got all my yellow, clean out my brush, and go in and do the red ones. Same brush, cleaned out, dried off. Just some red paint. The red might need a second coat just because the white of the canvas shows through some and kind of makes it look a little pink. So don't worry about it covering perfect right now. You can go back when it's dry and do another thin, even coat. Don't try to glob your paint on to make it cover. Just be patient. Do the first coat, let it dry, and then come in and do the next coat. I'm just moving right along to the next little checker spot, next stripe. Just take your time, nice smooth lines. And then down where it comes down, you're gonna paint this one. My easel's in the way, so I'm sorry I had to move it a little. And there, I have his scarf done. Other than I want to go back when it's dry and just do another quick coat of red. I'm gonna go up and do his lightning bolt. I'm gonna use a smaller brush. And to start, I'm gonna paint it white because I want that yellow to be nice and bright. And the yellow is kind of transparent, so if I paint it just plain yellow on that, on top of that like skin color, it's not gonna be nice and bright yellow. It's gonna kind of be murky because that skin color is gonna show through. So with my small brush, I'm just gonna take a little bit of white paint and just paint that lightning bolt white. And then when it's dry, then I can go over it with the yellow. And I'm just going right over my pencil line. You probably can't even see it. So I've got that coated in white. And before I go and do the outline of the glasses and his little mouth, I want these to be good and dry because I need to rest my hand, especially standing and not being able to like put it on my lap to steady myself. So just make sure your eyes are dry. I'm gonna use the blow dryer just so we don't have to sit here and wait for mine to dry. So hold on a second, it's gonna be loud, I apologize. All right, nice and dry. So with my smaller brush, I'm just gonna trace around the pencil line for the glasses. Just go nice and slow, take your time. It will not be perfect. Mine is not gonna be perfect either. Just do your best. If you want to rotate your canvas around so it's easier for you, feel free. That's what I would be doing if I were able to have it on my lap right now. I would just move the canvas with me so it's just in the most comfortable position. Because this to me is very awkward. I'm just putting a little bit on at a time. When my brush runs out of paint, you can kind of see it gets a little, I don't know. You can just tell when it's running out of paint. It doesn't have good coverage. You just go back for a little bit more when you need it. I got one. We'll go over and do the other one. So he's got this little bit here that goes into his hair. Then it's coming out of his hair right around here. So I've got the rims done. I'm gonna do the little nose piece that goes between. And I'm gonna do his little mouth. So next step, well, that's getting dry. I'm just gonna put my other coat of red on because that's good to go. And this should go a lot quicker than the first coat because it's gonna cover a lot better with this second layer. So clean brush dried off, red paint. You're just gonna go right over top. And that looks a lot better. It's getting all those little white pieces that were shining through covered right up. Just go right through and do all of them. Again, just be careful around your edges. You don't want to slap it into the yellow or up on his face. If you do happen to get like, you know, something bumped you and you got it over into the yellow or up on his face, the black is easy, you can cover easy with black. But if you do happen to get it somewhere that you don't want it, let it dry. And then you're gonna take white right on top of it and try to like block it out. It might take a few layers. Just between layers, let it dry. And then once it's covered for the most part where you can't see it coming through the white, you can go back in with the color it's supposed to be and get it covered up. It might not be perfect, but it will certainly be better than, you know, a big red blob somewhere it doesn't belong. All right, second coat of red complete. Now I'm gonna go up into his eyes and just put little white circles inside, like reflective light. So I'll use my medium brush, small brush. And it's just white paint. And right in this area here of both eyes, try to get it, you know, the same on both. You're just gonna paint a little white circle. So right here. And then the other one, I'll try to do my best to put it in the same spot. Make it the same size. There, pretty good. And you might need to like just let it dry. Do another, oh man, do another coat. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go do my lightning bolt, small brush, yellow paint. Just make sure your glasses are dry, you're not resting your hand in a glob of paint. And this is just yellow paint. Right on top of the white we painted. And now he is complete. I am gonna go in and do one more little layer of white on the pupils, or whatever it is, the little reflective white spots, just so they're nice and bright. And you can go ahead and sign your name if you want. I usually sign over here. I'm gonna just put a little bit of black in with some red, because I don't like my signature to show up like, pow, there's my signature. I kind of like to hide it a little. So I'm gonna paint it in this red area, and to make it show up in the red, I'm just gonna darken my red. Just a smidge, just adding a little bit of black in. And then I'll add a little water to it, just so that the flow of the paint, I can get my name in one swoop. So I just dip my brush in water, stir the water in. And then I'll just sign right here. So I can see it, but it's, you know, subtle. All right, so when you are finished, I would really like it if you would take pictures. I have a pinned post on the top of my Facebook page, Willy-Nilly, where everyone can share their paintings. I love seeing them. You can also check out what everybody else has posted too, so that's a lot of fun. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.